The sun was setting over Santa Monica Pier, painting the sky in pink and gold. Families were laughing. Kids were chasing seagulls, and music floated from the boardwalk. It was one of those perfect California evenings, until the laughter turned into cruel laughter. Move. Cripple, those two words cut through the air like a knife. A teenage girl in a wheelchair flinched as a group of boys mocked her, kicked her chair, and shoved past like she wasn't even human. People stared, some gasped, but no one stepped forward. The girl's eyes filled with tears, and just when it seemed like the world had turned its back on her, the deep rumble of motorcycle engines echoed down the pier, and within seconds, a sea of bikers surrounded her. Before we dive into this powerful true story of courage and kindness, make sure to subscribe to True Story Tales. We share real-life stories that move hearts, open eyes, and remind us that kindness still exists in this world. If this story touches you, please hit like, drop a comment, and share it with someone who could use a little hope today. Now, let's begin. Her name was Emily Carter, a 17-year-old from Bakersfield, California. She was born with cerebral palsy, and though life wasn't easy, she had the brightest spirit anyone could imagine. Emily never complained. She loved the ocean, the sound of the waves, the salty breeze, the feeling of freedom it gave her that Saturday afternoon. She and her mom drove to Santa Monica Pier for a small celebration. Emily had just been accepted into an online art program. She was beaming with pride. They bought ice cream, took photos by the Ferris wheel, and laughed as seagulls tried to steal their fries. It was supposed to be a beautiful memory, but fate had another plan. As Emily's mom went to grab water from a nearby stand, Emily sat near the railing, sketching the sunset in her notebook. That's when three teenage boys approached, loud, confident, wearing those smirks that only mean trouble. "Hey, what's wrong with your legs?" one sneered. Emily froze, unsure whether to respond. "Cat got your tongue?" another mocked. Then came the shove, a swift kick to the side of her wheelchair that made her sketchbook fall to the wooden plank. "Stop," she cried, reaching for her notebook, but the tallest boy snatched it up and tore a page. "Oops," he laughed. "Guess art class is over, huh?" People looked. Few pulled out phones but didn't move. That's the thing about public cruelty. It freezes people. Everyone waits for someone else to act. Emily's eyes welled up. She wanted to disappear, but her voice trembled out. "Please stop." The laughter grew louder. The bullies turned to leave, still jeering, until a deep rumble rolled across the pier. At first, it was faint, then louder. Louder, the wooden boards shook as nearly 24 motorcycles appeared, cruising slowly through the crowd. The boys turned, confused. At the front was a woman, tall, fierce-looking, wearing a black leather vest that read, "Guardians of Grace." La Chapter. She parked, pulled off her helmet, and her silver braid swung down her shoulder. Her eyes, sharp as steel, landed right on Emily. "You okay, sweetheart?" she asked softly. Emily nodded, tears still streaking her cheeks. The woman's gaze shifted to the bullies. "What's going on here?" she asked. One of the boys stammered, "Nothing. We were just what she said, stepping closer. Her biker friends, big men and women, tattooed, leather-clad, with hearts bigger than their bikes, stood behind her like a wall. The leader crossed her arms. "You think it's funny to pick on someone smaller than you? Someone in a wheelchair?" The boys backed away, their confidence gone. "Apologize," she said. The tallest boy muttered. "Sorry," louder. One of the bikers barked. "Sorry," they said in unison before running off down the pier, disappearing into the crowd. Emily looked around. Stunned, the crowd started to clap, and the bikers slowly surrounded her. Not to trap her, but to protect her. One man bent down, picked up her sketchbook, and handed it back gently. "Your art's safe now, kiddo," he said with a wink. The leader crouched beside Emily. "I'm Raven," she said, smiling, "and these are my brothers and sisters. You're safe with us." Emily whispered, "Thank you. I didn't think anyone would help." Raven shook her head. "Sweetheart, there's always someone who will help. You just met about 20 of us." They laughed softly. Easing the tension, Raven waved to Emily's mom, who came rushing back. Terrified, the bikers reassured her everything was okay, but then Raven did something extraordinary. She turned to her group and said, "You know what we're staying. Emily deserves a good day." They spent the next hour with her, buying her cotton candy, taking photos, letting her sit on one of the bikes. For a picture, tourists gathered around. Smiling kids waved. The air that had felt heavy with cruelty moments ago was suddenly filled with joy later, as the sun dipped below the horizon. Raven sat beside Emily at the edge of the pier. The ocean shimmered like melted gold. "Can I ask you something?" Raven said. "Sure," Emily replied. "Why didn't you call for help when they started messing with you?" Emily looked down. "I didn't think anyone would care. People usually just look away." Raven nodded, slowly. "Yeah, I've seen that, but you can't lose faith in people, sweetheart. Kindness doesn't shout, it whispers. You just have to listen for it." Emily smiled. "You're really kind. Are you all like this?" Raven chuckled. "We try to be. We started this group to protect folks who can't always protect themselves. We call ourselves the Guardians of Grace because we believe kindness is power, real power." When it was time to leave, Raven handed Emily a small patch from her vest. It was shaped like angel wings, embroidered in silver thread. "You earned this today," Raven said. "It's a reminder that you're never alone. There's goodness out here. Sometimes it just rides in on two wheels." Emily held the patch close, tears glistening in her eyes. "I'll never forget you," Raven smiled, revving her engine. "Just pay it forward someday." Okay, that's how the world changes. The bikers roared away into the night, engines echoing like thunder across the ocean. Emily sat quietly, the wind brushing her hair for the first time that day. She felt powerful. Time passed. Emily grew stronger, not physically, but inside. She graduated, started selling her art online, and even began giving talks at schools about kindness and courage. One day, she was invited to speak at a youth rally in Los Angeles. As she rolled onto the stage, she saw a sea of faces, kids, teachers, parents, all waiting for her story. She smiled and began, "A few years ago, I learned something that changed my life. I learned that kindness can roar louder than cruelty." The audience listened closely as she shared what happened that day at Santa Monica Pier. She ended her speech with this line, "When you see someone being hurt, you have two choices. Stay silent or stand up, because even one act of courage can change someone's entire world." The crowd erupted in applause. Some people wiped away tears afterward. Several students came up to thank her and promised they'd stand up for others too. And just as Emily was about to leave, a woman with a silver braid approached her from the crowd. "It was Raven," she smiled proudly. "Told you you'd pay it forward," she said. They hugged, and in that moment, Emily realized that kindness isn't just something you do, it's something you pass on, like a flame that never goes out. That night on Santa Monica Pier started with cruelty, but it ended with compassion. What began as one girl's pain became a reminder to everyone watching that kindness is strength, and silence is not. Every day, somewhere in the world, someone faces a moment like Emily did. Maybe it's a kid at school, a stranger on the street, or someone online. We can't stop all the bullies, but we can be the voice that says, "Hey, that's not right." And when we do, we become part of something bigger, like the Guardians of Grace. So the next time you see someone in need, remember Emily's story. Be brave, step forward, spread kindness like wildfire, because when kindness rides in, even the darkest moments can turn into something beautiful. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, and subscribe to True Story Tales. Every week, we share real stories that remind us what humanity is capable of when we lead with love. And remember, be kind, because you never know whose life you might change next.